Red bag. Yo, man, it's cool. It's cool, man. It's cool.
Chilling exploration of the top 10 facts about the infamous Jason Voorhees from the Friday the 13th franchise. Prepare to delve into the dark and twisted world of this iconic slasher as we uncover intriguing details about his origins, evolution, and enduring legacy, from his tragic beginnings to his relentless pursuit of victims. But before we dive into the darkness, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on our spine-chilling content. It's a small click for you, but for us, it really means a lot.
Fact 1.
The origins of Jason Voorhees.
The origins of Jason Voorhees, the iconic antagonist from the Friday the 13th franchise, can be traced back to the tragic events that unfolded at Camp Crystal Lake. In the original film, Friday the 13th, 1980, Jason is introduced as a young boy who drowned due to the negligence of camp counselors. This incident sets the foundation for his vengeful spirit, as his mother, Pamela Voorhees, seeks revenge on those she holds responsible for her son's death.
Well, I'm Mrs. Voorhees, an old friend of the Christies.
Jason's initial demise and his mother's subsequent rampage lay the groundwork for the horror that would follow in the sequels. While Jason's drowning is the catalyst for his transformation into a vengeful force, it is his mother's actions that truly shape his character. In Friday the 13th, 1980, Pamela Voorhees becomes the primary antagonist, driven by her grief and desire for retribution. She takes on the role of the killer, donning a disguise and eliminating anyone who dares to reopen Camp Crystal Lake. Pamela's motive and her twisted bond with her deceased son add a layer of complexity to the franchise, setting it apart from other slasher films of the time. As the franchise progresses, Jason Voorhees emerges as the central figure, embodying the spirit of vengeance that his mother initially sought. In subsequent films, it is revealed that Jason did not actually drown, but survived, living in the woods surrounding Camp Crystal Lake. His physical appearance evolves, showcasing his resilience and supernatural abilities. From a deformed child to a towering undead killer, Jason's transformation reflects his enduring presence and his relentless pursuit of those who dare to enter his domain. The origins of Jason Voorhees, rooted in tragedy and fueled by vengeance, have become an integral part of his character and the enduring legacy of the Friday the 13th franchise.
I used to work for the Christies.
Act 2. The Hockey Mask. In the Friday the 13th franchise, Jason Voorhees acquired his iconic hockey mask in the third film, appropriately titled Friday the 13th Part 3, 1982. Prior to this installment, Jason had been portrayed wearing a burlap sack over his head to conceal his deformed features. However, it was in Part 3 stumbled upon his signature mask. During the film, Jason encounters a character named Shelly, who is known for his practical jokes. Shelly, in an attempt to scare his friends, dons a hockey mask. Little did he know that this innocent prank would forever change the course of Jason's appearance. After a confrontation with Shelly, Jason claims the mask for himself, recognizing its potential to strike fear into the hearts of his victims. From that moment on, the hockey mask became synonymous with Jason Voorhees, solidifying its place as one of the most recognizable symbols in horror cinema. The mask not only conceals Jason's deformed face, but also adds an eerie and menacing quality to his character, enhancing the terror he instills in his victims. Thus, the chance encounter with Shelly and his hockey mask in Friday the 13th Part 3 forever altered the visual identity of Jason Voorhees. Act 3. The Many Faces of Jason. The transformation of Jason Voorhees from human to zombie occurs in the sixth film, Friday the 13th Part 6. Jason lives released in 1986. After being resurrected by a bolt of lightning, Jason emerges from his grave as an undead force of nature. This transformation marks a significant shift in his character, as he becomes even more relentless and unstoppable in his pursuit of victims. As a zombie,
Jason gains enhanced strength, durability, and an ability to withstand seemingly fatal injuries. His physical appearance also undergoes a notable change, with his skin taking on a decayed and rotting appearance. This transformation amplifies the horror and supernatural elements of the franchise, elevating Jason's status from a mere human killer to an unstoppable force of evil. The zombie version of Jason Voorhees becomes a formidable and iconic figure, solidifying his place as one of the most enduring and terrifying villains in horror cinema. Throughout the subsequent films in the franchise, Jason's zombie persona remains a constant, further cementing his supernatural nature and making him an even more formidable adversary. The transformation from human to zombie not only adds a new layer of terror to the character, but also allows for creative and gruesome kills, as Jason's undead status enables him to execute acts of violence that defy the limits of human capability. Fact 4. The final girl trope. The Friday the 13th franchise is renowned for its use of the final girl trope, a common narrative device in horror films where one female character survives the killer's onslaught and often confronts the antagonist in the climax. The series has introduced several memorable final girls, each of whom has left a lasting impact on the franchise and the horror genre as a whole. The first final girl in the series is Alice Hardy, portrayed by Adrienne King in the original Friday the 13th, 1980. Alice is the sole survivor of Pamela Voorhees' murderous rampage, and she ultimately confronts and decapitates Pamela in the film's climax. Alice's character set the standard for future final girls in the franchise, showcasing bravery, resourcefulness, and resilience in the face of terror. However, unlike many final girls who survive to appear in sequels, Alice is killed off in the opening scene of Friday the 13th Part 2, 1981, marking a departure from the traditional final girl trope. In subsequent films, the franchise introduces other final girls, including Ginny Field in Part 2, Chris Higgins in Part 3, and Trish Jarvis in the final chapter. Each of these characters embodies the spirit of the final girl, surviving Jason's attacks and often playing a crucial role in his temporary defeat. The final girls of the Friday the 13th franchise are not only survivors but also fighters, often using their intelligence and resourcefulness to outwit Jason and live to see another day. Their characters add depth to the franchise, providing a human element amidst the horror and serving as a beacon of hope in the face of relentless terror. Fact 5. The body counts. The Friday the 13th franchise is notorious for its high body count, with Jason Voorhees being one of the most prolific killers in horror cinema. Over the course of 12 films, Jason has racked up an impressive number of victims, each dispatched in a variety of gruesome and creative ways. In the original Friday the 13th, 1980, the body count stands at 10, but it's worth noting that Jason is not the killer in this film. Instead, it's his mother, Pamela Voorhees, seeking revenge for her son's death. However, from Friday the 13th, Part 2, 1981 onwards, Jason takes over as the primary antagonist, and the body count begins to rise significantly. By the end of Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan 1989, Jason's body count had reached over 80 victims. This number continued to grow with each subsequent film, with Jason's most lethal outing being Jason X in 2001, where he dispatched 28 victims. The franchise's high body count is one of its defining characteristics, contributing to its reputation as a quintessential slasher series. Jason's relentless pursuit of his victims and his creative methods of dispatching them have become a hallmark of the series, making each new installment a guessing game of who will survive and who will fall victim to Jason's wrath. As of the latest film, the total body count across the entire franchise stands at an astonishing 181, solidifying Jason Voorhees' status as one of cinema's most prolific killers. Fact 6. The legacy of Pamela Voorhees. Pamela Voorhees, the mother of Jason Voorhees, plays a pivotal role in the Friday the 13th franchise, particularly in the original 1980 film. Pamela is the primary antagonist of the first movie, driven by a deep-seated desire for revenge following the death of her son, Jason. Jason, who had physical deformities, drowned at Camp Crystal Lake due to the negligence of the camp counselors who were supposed to be watching him. This tragic event fuels Pamela's rage and sets her on a path of vengeance, leading to a killing spree at the camp. Pamela's character adds a unique twist to the slasher genre, as she is not the typical face of horror. As a middle-aged woman, she defies the stereotype of the male killer, bringing a new level of unpredictability and terror to the film. Her character also introduces the concept of a killer, motivated by a mother's love, adding a layer of complexity to the narrative. Despite her brutal actions, Pamela's grief and loss humanize her to some extent, making her a compelling and memorable villain. Her character sets the stage for the horror that unfolds in the subsequent films, as her death at the hands of the final girl, Alice, in the climax of the first movie, triggers Jason's own murderous rampage in the sequels. Fact 7. The crossover universe. The Friday the 13th franchise, featuring the iconic Jason Voorhees, has crossed over into other horror universes, creating a thrilling blend of terror for fans of the genre. The most notable crossover is the 2003 film Freddy vs. Jason, which pits Jason against another horror icon, Freddy Krueger from the Nightmare on Elm Street series. This film was a long-awaited showdown between two of the most notorious killers in horror cinema, and it was a commercial success, satisfying fans' curiosity about who would win in a fight between these two titans of terror. In Freddy vs. Jason, the two villains are brought together in a plot that involves Freddy, trapped in hell and forgotten by the children of Springwood, manipulating Jason into killing for him to instill fear back into the town. This leads to a power struggle between the two, culminating in a brutal showdown. The film cleverly merges the mythologies of both franchises, with the dream world of Freddy Krueger and the real-world terror of Jason Voorhees. While the film doesn't definitively declare a winner, it provides plenty of thrilling, over-the-top battles that highlight each character's strengths. This crossover not only expanded the universes of both franchises, but also solidified Jason Voorhees' status as a horror icon capable of standing toe-to-toe with other giants of the genre. Fact 8. The Friday the 13th video game. The 2017 video game, Friday the 13th, the game, developed by Ilphonic and published by Gun Media, was met with a mixed response upon its release. The game, which allows players to step into the shoes of either Jason Voorhees or one of the camp counselors trying to survive his onslaught, was praised for its faithful recreation of the franchise's atmosphere and its innovative asymmetrical multiplayer gameplay. The game's graphics, sound design, and the inclusion of various elements from the film series, such as different versions of Jason in various locations from the movies, were lauded by fans and critics alike. The game was successful in capturing the essence of the Friday the 13th franchise and delivering a unique multiplayer experience that was both thrilling and terrifying. However, the game also faced its share of criticism and challenges. Upon release, it was plagued with technical issues, including server problems, bugs, and glitches, which marred the gameplay experience for many players. Additionally, the game's development was hindered by a legal dispute over the rights to the Friday the 13th franchise, which resulted in the cancellation of planned DLC, also known as downloadable content, and future updates. This left many players disappointed and led to a decline in the game's player base. Despite its initial promise and the excitement it generated among fans of the franchise, Friday the 13th, the game ultimately struggled to maintain its momentum due to these issues, leading to a mixed legacy in the realm of horror video games.
Fact 9. The cultural impact. Jason Voorhees, the iconic antagonist of the Friday the 13th franchise, has left an indelible mark on popular culture. With his signature hockey mask, menacing presence, and relentless pursuit of his victims, Jason has become a symbol of horror and fear. His image has been widely recognized and referenced in various forms of media, from movies and television shows to video games and merchandise. Jason's cultural impact extends beyond the realm of horror, permeating into mainstream consciousness and becoming a recognizable figure even for those who may not be avid horror fans. His name has become synonymous with the slasher genre, and his legacy continues to inspire and influence contemporary horror films and characters. Jason Voorhees has become an enduring icon, solidifying his place in today's world as one of the most recognizable and enduring figures in horror cinema. Fact 10. The enduring legacy.
Friday the 13th.
Jason Voorhees is an iconic horror movie character who has left an enduring legacy in the Friday the 13th franchise. Introduced in the original film as a young boy who drowned at Camp Crystal Lake due to neglectful counselors, Jason returns as a vengeful spirit seeking revenge on anyone who dares to enter his territory. With his signature hockey mask and machete, Jason has become synonymous with the slasher genre, terrifying audiences for decades. What sets Jason apart from other horror villains is his relentless pursuit of his victims. He is known for his superhuman strength, resilience, and ability to seemingly come back from the dead. Jason's enduring legacy lies in his ability to strike fear into the hearts of viewers, making him one of the most recognizable and feared characters in horror cinema. Whether it's his chilling presence lurking in the shadows or his brutal and creative kills, Jason Voorhees has become an enduring symbol of terror, ensuring his place in the annals of horror history. Conclusion. Jason Voorhees, the relentless killer from the Friday the 13th franchise, has captivated audiences for decades. From his tragic origins to his enduring legacy, his presence in the horror genre is undeniable. As we've explored these 10 intriguing facts, we've gained a deeper understanding of the character's evolution and the impact he has had on popular culture. Whether you're a die-hard fan or a casual viewer, Jason Voorhees will forever be etched in the annals of horror history.
And that concludes our journey into the horrific world of Jason, a movie that has inspired me to become an avid fan of the horror genre. Also, what other facts do you think we left out? What do you vividly remember about Jason that terrified you? I'd like to know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for joining me on this spine-chilling journey into the world of Dr. Creepy. Remember, when darkness falls, don't forget to check under your bed. Stay tuned for more hair-raising tales and bone-chilling adventures. Until next time, keep your wits about you and your nightlight shining bright. As Dr. Creepy always says, fear is a choice and is just a figment of your imagination. Or is it?